War. War never changes.
The highly anticipated open world from Bethesda delivers on all promises. It is expansive, addicting, and a massive amount of fun as you explore the wasteland of the Boston area, either to battle against hostile creatures or to scavenge for supplies needed to build up your settlements. This game is rich with so many things to do, and you'll never get bored.
We do have coming in. That's, confirmed reports, I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonations in New York and Pennsylvania.
The setting of Fallout 4 is very simple. The world has been destroyed by a nuclear apocalypse and is now filled with radiation, mutated creatures, raiders, and other hostile enemies that make life very difficult. You play as a character who has survived the nuclear apocalypse by taking refuge inside of Vault 111, only to emerge to discover that the world is much different. You must explore, find allies, and essentially build a life for yourself in the Commonwealth. Scattered throughout the world are rundown buildings, radiation-filled wastelands, and vaults that have secrets for you to uncover. In fact, all of the Commonwealth has secrets that are just waiting to be uncovered. As for the overall story, I was very pleased with it. It might not be award-winning, but it was still better than most, and certainly better than what I expected. During your travels, you may have the opportunity to join up with some factions. Some may impact how the story plays out. There was a point where I had to take time to weigh the pros and cons before making a huge decision, something that a role-playing game should do. Fallout 4 has everything that you expect from a Fallout game. The game can be played from a first-person or third-person perspective, but more or less is a standard shooter. The game brings back the VAT system, which stands for Vault Tech Assisted Targeting System. In this view, you can specifically target parts of your enemies and automatically fire away, but the shot is not always a guaranteed hit. The number attached to each body part is a percentage of the shot actually landing. As you land hits and VATs, you will build up a critical meter, and once filled, you can hit a button for a guaranteed critical hit on your opponent. You can use anything from guns to melee weapons to launchers that fire nukes. The choice is yours. A great change from Fallout 3 to 4 is that none of the weapons need to be repaired, but you can certainly add modifications to both your weapons and your armor. At one point I had a laser rifle that also set enemies on fire, while I also turned a sawed-off shotgun into a long barrel shotgun that did an insane amount of damage. Speaking of armor, the game takes power armor and makes it its own thing. As you travel the world, you can come across different types of power armor and equip them to protect yourself against damage, radiation, breathe underwater, and basically become a killing machine. But the game does a good job of keeping the mechanic balanced. You may feel like you're an unstoppable juggernaut of destruction, but you are still very vulnerable. Parts of the armor can be damaged, which will require you to make repairs, and you will still lose health when you're hit. Power armor also requires a fusion core to operate properly, which adds to the resource management of the game. You'll also need to understand that certain guns use certain types of ammo, and that you will need to manage food as well as medical supplies to keep yourself alive and well. For example, if you have radiation sickness, your total health will decrease, so it's always a good idea to have some RadAway to cure it. But this game adds in a whole new mechanic to the game, and that is the settlement building. I literally spent hours with this mechanic. Early on, you were presented with this feature and tasked with creating a settlement for your allies. You must construct buildings, set up defenses, create a food and water source, while also keeping up the general happiness of your community. It's an incredibly in-depth system as you assign settlers to certain jobs, map out wiring to establish power, and also taking on missions to build new relationships with other communities. But building isn't something that you can do for free. In order to build anything, you will need to find resources such as wood, steel, cloth, and copper, to name a few. You can obtain these resources by either breaking down items in the workshop menu, or by going out and picking up mundane items like tin cans, screwdrivers, ashtrays, and other numerous junk items you find out in the world. I was very happy that the game gave these items a purpose, and I can't tell you how excited I would get every time I came across a tin can, which translated into steel, which ended up becoming my most consumed resource. In short, the settlement mechanics were phenomenal.
Anyway, I am glad you're here.
Due to the game's size and just how ambitious it was, it's not surprising that the game comes with some technical issues. Some of these issues include odd glitches, frame rate drops, long load times, and other notable bugs. While none were game-breaking, it's still something worth noting. I also wasn't a huge fan of the lip syncing, the voice acting, and how during conversations the camera would swing around oddly. The game isn't perfect by any means, but these shouldn't affect your experience too much. At the end of the day, Fallout 4 is a must-play. It has so many layers with what you expect from the game and with the settlement building. I thought the story was good and the gameplay was great, and by the time I finished the main story, I had logged 41 hours and yet still felt like I had only scratched the surface of this game. It's a massive game with a living world that deserves to be explored in depth. Fallout 4 is phenomenal and a Game of the Year contender.
Because if my time in the army taught me one thing, it's that war never changes.
Thank you guys for watching this review of Fallout 4. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out a lot. If you want to watch another review just like this one, go ahead and click this link here. Or for more Fallout 4 stuff, check out some of the links in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.